This production has been authorized, vetted, evaluated, and approved for your consumption by Wild LLC. You're welcome.
Welcome to a special Monday night edition live of Opinion City Podcast. And no, don't adjust your screens. It's not a mirage. Ralph is at work. He is not here, but with me, graciously take his time away from business and acquiring all of the assets in the world. I am with Dr. Ethan Wild, the boss of the Opinion City Podcast. Sir, how are you?
I am astounding. How are you, Sean?
I'm doing well. A little nervous to see how I test up against your co-hostness, but I'm sure together we can do wonderful things.
Set your mind at ease. In the corporate world, on any virtual meeting, we always like to say Happy Monday. So happy Monday.
Yes, definitely a happy Monday. Happy Monday because we have a huge show for you guys, and I'm going to quickly run down our quick and easy ways to get us to know that you enjoy us, because words make sense. First of all, hit that like button so you never miss a thing. Let us know that you enjoy what you're watching, that you enjoy us. That way he can see that you enjoy us. Number 2, hit that subscribe button, smash it, obliterate it, tap it, whatever you want to do. That way you never miss a video, you never miss a thing that we do, you never miss anything that the Auto LC does, and all that good stuff. And finally, share us out with your friends, family, colleagues, strangers, whoever can see or hear this. We love you. We love that you listen to us, you watch us. You're trying to make this guy as filthy rich as possible. Speaking of filthy rich, we also have merch. That Wild LLC Opinion City merch that we have made in honor of the Wyatt 6 that just came back. Get it in hoodies, t-shirts, hats, mugs, stickers, wherever you please. Follow ourselves at Opinion City Pod. Let us know keep following what we're doing. Follow at Wild LLC to let know everything that they're doing, what they're up to, what businesses they're up to, what ventures they're up to. And finally, and most importantly, like and support the guests. Follow and support, because they are just as much the reason that we're here as we are here. Follow them, support them, show them some love. And I'm gonna let you take the rug here. Why don't you introduce us to who we have on this special Monday edition of Opinion City?
We have a phenomenal guest, the greatest guest of all time. Me.
That's part of it.
It certainly is. It certainly is. So I would like to introduce the Pyro Prince. And I'm going to ask, I have a list of some pyromaniac questions, but trained by, among others, Cheeseburger, Sonny Defarge, Speedball Mike Bailey, the Pyro Prince, Juni Underwood. Applaud.
There he is. What's going on, man?
Thank you for having me on today.
No, thank you for joining us on this special Monday edition of Opinion City with myself and my boss, my cohort, Dr. Ethan Wild, LLC.
The phenomenal.
Added.
I heard. The phenomenal Ethan Wild.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You know, if you don't get like you're right, but
you'll really have to get the gloves, right?
You with the fancy graphics back there over there. So let's start off right off with the question that I think Ethan probably wanted to ask, but I'll ask too. How did you get the name Pyro Prince? Are you a big pyromaniac? Do you like fire a lot? You a big fire guy?
Yes.
Yes.
Long story short, yeah. I'm a big fire guy. When I started wrestling, I'd started with the fire starter,
Mm-hmm.
and little did I know that I didn't know about this guy who is primarily in like the Ohio scene. He's everywhere. Like he used to be everywhere.
Right.
His name's Jake Christ.
Oh, yes. Right.
And
Yes.
he that was his moniker. And I didn't know that. There was no real way for me to have known that, considering
Mhm.
when he was primarily within TNA. I wasn't watching wrestling at that time,
Right.
which I'm sure maybe we'll get to that point in my life. But I wasn't really.
There's a point in your life where you're watching TNA.
There was a life where like I wasn't watching wrestling, like where
Oh, okay.
I'm
Right.
watching wrestling, like I'm watching a lot of it. I know a lot of, like right now I know like I watch a good amount of wrestling. I was
Right.
probably a little unhealthy.
Yes.
But at that time period in my life where he was really at like his peak, well, I would say he's at his peak. I think he's doing great stuff right
Oh
now.
yeah, he's doing phenomenal even now. Yeah, for sure.
But that was a time where he'd really, kind of gotten rocking and rolling with Impact. So I didn't know about him. And but when I learned about him, I was like, the fire starter and what it means to be the fire starter. Because while a lot of people are like, oh, you got to come out with a lighter and you got to do this, and
Right.
that's not necessarily my point. Like fire starter is about, the passion and the heart that you bring and lighting up a place when you just walk through it,
Mm-hmm.
starting that fire. And I was like, I am one of those who feel very adamant about, okay, if there's one, like I'm young, I'm new guy. There's no like I don't need to copy him. I can think of something else or have something come organically. And
Right.
when I was wrestling in Pittsburgh, which I'm doing August 23rd at the moment, I would wrestle
Gotcha.
a little bit for Envy Young. And the commentary there, I was talking with him about it. I was like, hey, I wanna shift away from using the fire starter. Can we think of something, see what sticks? And literally I did just this. I did a cool kick. And when I did, I just was really like, I don't know, amped about it. But
Right.
commentary, Toddy Tondera calls me the Pyro Prince. And I was literally like, all right, there it is. It happened like on its own, where it was just, it didn't feel forced either. Like if you saw the clip, I'd have to find it. I probably should have saved it immediately.
Right.
But I should have like put it in its own little file and been like the birth of Pyro Prince, but I didn't. I'm not.
So if I may, I just want to confirm something that we just heard, which is that this would be, say, the royal equivalent of stolen valor, that your parents are not in fact Pyro royalty. You're not the son of the Pyro King and the Pyro Queen. Confirming that this is in fact correct.
No, but yeah, you are correct. It is metaphorical.
Gotcha. So, are you a Spider-Man fan at all? Because I see that you're also known as your friendly neighborhood fire starter.
Yeah. Yes. You got me. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. Technically, Scarlet Spider is my favorite superhero. I like Billy a lot. I've always been attracted to characters who are very tormented. Like Ben Reilly is obviously very tormented, being the clone of Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
And think about that. Spoiler alert for those who don't know anything about Spider-Man. Read the Clone Saga, I guess. Oh,
Oh God.
Was that the one with Count Dooku in it?
No, but that would have been great. Sorry for that. But no, I'm really big on. I love Spider. Like I have a nice little collection down there where like a majority of the books are either Spider-Man or Teen Titans.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
and then I've also recently dove insanely far into like the Last Ronin TMNT universe.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
so awesome.
It's so
Because
gritty. It's so dark.
yeah, I'm not gonna say who the Last Ronin is because that does
No,
like,
that's spoiler alert.
but people like that idea, how much being the Ronin changed him.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just something about it that like it helps get my creative juices flowing, stuff like that, where it's like this character's had a really hard life and a hard story, and to be able to do what they do best better because of it, because of the hardship, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I think is just so um, enticing to think about, and I try to think about that a lot with the Pyro Prince of like thinking of I write stuff down for him of like for my characters. I used to do
Right.
in college too. Anytime I was playing somebody, I would write down things and I'd write down quotes and I'd write down like inspirations. Like, what do I think this person would say to themselves to hype them up? So, like, something I say to myself to hype me up for doing certain things now is born for this, live for this, die for this. I say this as me, but also as Juni Underwood, I guess, right before every match. I say, born for this, live for this, die for this. And then I say, Juni F. and Underwood. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse. I'm going to not.
I appreciate it, but you're fine. You can. It's okay. Ethan, I don't know about Ethan though. Ethan already has his ears covered. He's ready to go.
Or button.
But thinking of how like hot his fire can burn under harsher and harsher
Mm-hmm.
circumstances, along with the fact of like he who's the most I like the he who laughs the loudest cries the most or is the saddest. Those kinds of ideas and quote ideas is something that I think of with him, of like he's a very obviously hurt or sad guy. Maybe that's not obvious, but in my brain Pyro Prince is a very hurt guy, but he continues to smile and do his thing and attempt to set little fires everywhere and be everywhere wrestling because that's his passion. This is what he loves to do. Yeah. So characters like that. So that's why I really like Ben Reilly. And then obviously Spider-Man himself also goes through tons of hardships, but
Yeah.
plows through it, continues. That was also just a very easy way for me to, at the time, differentiate the thought of being a good guy and a bad guy. If I was a bad guy,
Right.
hey, your friendly neighborhood fire starter. If I was a good guy, I would say your friendly neighborhood fire starter. And it would just help me kind of differentiate the two.
Gotcha. So you were pretty early on in your career still. I think you're only a couple years in, right?
Yeah,
But
two
you've
years of like legit having consistent matches and like actually wrestling and traveling. Because I've had like small little like I think my first written on cage match was me and my my Lost Boy tag partner Ethan, who
right.
we wrestled King Crab as Camper 1 and Camper 2. Like I think I finally got Camper 1 removed from
Right.
my name. Because I was like, that's
Yeah.
I don't go by that. I don't even know why that was up there in the first place. Why can't we just say that I did that?
Right. You
But
were as Camper Juni, if I remember correctly.
yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that and I could be wrong. I could have sworn it was Camper 1.
Okay.
Maybe that was changed to Camper Junior
Right.
point. But yeah, but yeah, September 5th is when like Juni Underwood started, like really started,
Gotcha.
and it started rolling. So that's coming up soon. That's in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Nice.
I don't do math. I wrestle.
Right.
uh, but yeah, we're doing okay. I'm about to hit. I think this past weekend for Pro Wrestling Magic was my 233rd match.
Wow. That's crazy.
So this weekend, I'll be
233rd of this weekend. That's
Nah,
remarkable.
that'd been crazy. That would have been awesome. But just lifetime amount of matches.
That's what a match is for only like 2 years. That's crazy.
Thanks.
You've been busy.
Probably why I just took this incredible 4-hour nap. You know, getting ready to go to sleep. No, I just woke up.
You have any thoughts, Ethan?
I'm looking through the cage match. I see Camper Ethan and Camper Juni. So you have been
Oh,
upgraded.
There you go. Camper Ethan and Camper Juni. There you go.
Other early matches. Let's see if any of these ring your bell in terms of memories. So King Crab defeats Camper Ethan and Camper Juni. Austin Luke and Juni Underwood.
Yeah, that would have been September 12th, something like that, sometime in that area.
This says March 10th, unless they're using European dating, in which case it's October 3rd.
There you go.
That is true. They are using European dating.
There you go. There you go.
I was like, I know that wasn't before September. That's all I.
Right.
But October 3rd, that makes sense. Yeah.
Any memories of that match?
All of them. Yeah, that was
all of them.
That was my first. It was the first time that my aunt, who loves wrestling, she lives up here. She's one of my few members of like my family that like I talk to who lives up here. Like all of my other family pretty much lives in North Carolina. That's where I am from. But my aunt lives up here, and my mom and my cousin came from North Carolina to see that show, and my aunt went and saw it. So it was the first time her or my cousin got to watch me wrestle, and
nice.
It was super fun, and it was really cool because recently me and I have a wrestling twin, so I have many tag teams in wrestling. I have many people that I can tag with.
Yeah, you have a lot of teams out there.
I'm basically like Spider-Man. I just do wrestling. But my wrestling twin, my most recent team, which has kind of, it's doing really well. We have some really cool stuff coming up. My wrestling twin, Ricky Price.
Okay.
He and I just wrestled Marcus Mathers and Austin Luke for our first time tagging together. Right. That was the start of what we call ourselves Smash and Burn, because he's the player. I'm the Pyro Prince. He's Smash. I'm Burn.
There you go.
So it was really cool to like wrestle Austin again and him just be like, wow, you've wrestled 200 matches since the last time I saw you. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I don't know if I've hit that. And I'm like, I don't expect people to.
How many matches have you had, Ethan, so far?
Enough.
Just enough. I don't know about 200, but just enough.
Enough to be a campione.
There you go. Enough to be a campione. But so what was it like? What was your experience like? Ethan earlier mentioned that you have trained under Cheeseburger, Sonny Defarge, Mike Bailey. What was it like to have that experience to get trained under all those uh, class act wrestlers? I will say.
Yeah, so I started with Sonny, and he's great. Like he does not get enough flowers in my opinion. Uh, but he's so good, and like so this is kind of how I've mentioned people I've mentioned to people kind of like how the training was, but Sonny really set my fundamentals and
Mm-hmm.
really set them well. And then there's this guy who ran out of or who trained out of H2O. His name's Mike Quest. He helped maximize those fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
And then Berger gave me a lot of new tools. Like, I mean, he's in my opinion one of the best technical wrestlers. Yeah, at least on the indies. I'd say period.
Right.
And then through being with Cheeseburger, we got to have a seminar with Speedball Mike Bailey, and then Speedball Mike Bailey was basically trying to train some people out of Copley, PA, for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we just so happened, me and a few other people, just so happened to be a part of that crop, and he taught us a lot of things that um, people probably don't necessarily expect Speedball Mike Bailey to be teaching.
Right.
Because a lot of people have mentioned to them Speedball lacks psychology, etc. But he actually has a great psychology for all of this. It's just, you know, he's also incredibly athletic and does
Oh
great
yeah.
all the time. So,
Yeah.
but if you go back and you watch his matches, you realize, yeah, all of what he does still escalates, which is
Mm-hmm.
he really um, drilled into our brains of like, this is what we do. This is how you can do it. And as long as you're making sure that the way you are progressing your matches, the way you are like, however, how your matches escalate is going to help you improve on having generally good matches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, like, I think all of them gave me just something really, really nice. And then on top of that, just being able to pick their brains pretty much whenever has been a
Yeah.
pretty great time. Um, and then somebody else that I didn't start training with, but I've gotten to have a good amount of training sessions with them. And I just think they deserve a lot of praise for what they're doing right now. Is Ricardo Rodriguez out of
Oh
3.
yeah.
He's doing fantastic stuff with his students, and I've gotten to train with him a good amount, and he's been just paramount in my learning, definitely of this, um, definitely with like having matches because he was able to give me a nice stage to let me learn how to be me. Um, in front of like a good crop of like an audience. Like he was
Right.
the first audience that 3LW with Red Rose Rumble last year had over 2,000 people in it, and I got to rep
Mm-hmm.
those 2,000 people. To this year, it got rained out a little, so I don't know the number, but it was also still a pretty large crowd. Getting to try and really feel what it's like to be in a crowd of more than sometimes like just sometimes it's only a handful of people, and um, so being able to be in all forms of audiences, big or small, has been super helpful. Ricardo is every reason because of that.
I was just gonna ask that question. I was gonna throw out to you anything. Would you guys prefer as wrestlers more of a smaller venue, or do you prefer a bigger venue with a bigger crowd?
Would you like to go first?
Crowd corresponds to payday, so I think the answer is self-evident.
Well, that this way I think.
Yes.
It's a very good point. So, but for me, in terms of like comfortability, right? So if I were to say, if we were going to what I'm comfortable with performing in instead of trying to make more money, because that's always going to be our answer. We're trying to make more money. So
Mm-hmm.
bigger venue, the more money we got. So in terms of comfortability, I like what I've come to figure is like um, the 2000s crowd is whatever, but I really enjoy the like 150, 200, that like nice, and they can pretty much just fit in a relatively small building wrapped around
Yeah.
very like think very PWG, um, where they're just like surrounding the like not old but older PWG, where they're just surrounding, and even they used to do that with GCW too, and they're just beating on the ring, but there's still a lot of people, and you can hear them and you can feel them, and it's small enough that it's like they're paying attention to you. Because I think that the issue with so many people is that people just get jaded, and the more people there are, the more like background noise is happening. Like I've
Right.
thought when I go to an AEW show or any show that is like super 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 packed with like thousands of people, whether it's like a band or whatever, sometimes my brain just goes, "Oh, let me check my phone." But when you're
Right.
smaller, more compact venue and place, people who pull their phone out and just start playing a video game, somebody's gonna look at them funny, and even
Mm-hmm.
look at them funny because they're right in front of you, and it just feels more personal to me.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it's more intimate. It's for me. It's more interactive. I think being in a smaller show is more venue. You, like you said, you get to interact with the wrestlers, whereas in a bigger venue you can watch them, but you really can't interact. You can't yell at them, and they won't yell back. There's that interaction with the crowd that I think really is the reason why I go to all the local and more indie shows, because it's more intimate and it's a more interactive experience than just going to a 10,000, 15,000 seat arena and just watching the watch.
right.
Pay notwithstanding, the closer you are to people, the more likely you are to smell them, and that's something I want to avoid at all costs. So just another vote in favor. But speaking of smelling people, a question I have for you, Juni. Looking through your history, considering what you said about your trainers, Speedball Mike Bailey in particular,
You're about to ask about his feet, aren't you?
not even remotely.
I'm glad.
Not even remotely.
Just gonna say I haven't smelled it.
That is an answer to a question that I did not ask, nor do I wish the answer for. Much more simply, however, professional wrestling, fightertainment.
Hey,
What is the difference between the two? Educate us, if you will.
Yes.
well, for commission, it's very different. Uh, um, typically, I mean, fightertainment's typically held on like mats. It's very much typically no ring. Like the standard is no ring. It's meant to prioritize the entertainment of the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when within pro wrestling, the idea is supposed to be about the audience. But a lot of the times, what I found with fightertainment is it gets you out of that comfort zone of, oh, I have to have the best match, precisely. I have to have the best technical match. I have to be a great wrestler. And it's like, no, you don't actually. I think to fight or tame, you just have to be willing to fight or tame. You just have to be willing to listen to the crowd and be a little silly and allow yourself to be a little silly. And when you do that, you really get to embrace fightertainment as a whole. Um,
Right.
Have you ever
because
considered Silly Goose as a ring name? The Silly Goose.
the silly.
Try that for the next fightertainment show. Set aside your crown.
I'll put that in my moniker.
Be the
There you
silly
go.
goose.
The silly
The
goose.
silliest goose.
And you can honk. It gives you the opportunity to honk in people's
Yeah,
faces.
there you go.
Oh, so crazy enough, I
Oh.
have a history of honking. Uh, because
Tell us about your honking past.
Yes, go on. Go on.
This
very
is this
quickly tell you
PG.
about the hajonking past. I very simple. I did in theater. We did basically children's theater. You have to take it at some point, but the children's theater production we did was The Ugly Duckling, and
Nice.
I honked as a duck who was actually
Mhm.
Swan. Spoiler alert for those who don't know about it. Um, I think I'm supposed to say spoiler alert first, but
Probably.
So you were the named
I was
duckling. You weren't just cast as like goose number 6 in the
no,
background. You were like
I was
the goose,
yeah, I
the
was
swan.
for sure.
Honk.
So I have a
Can
honk.
you honk for us? I want to hear your honk.
Dude, it's been so long. But we had to be just with it. We had to be really wild. So I guess I'll do it. It's very much a honk like that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
You know how much that would destroy my vocal cords?
You would have no voice left.
It was not great.
I was
And-
hoping that you were gonna withhold it and say, if you want to hear me honk, you got to come see me wrestle, and like then you could sell some tickets.
I'm not gonna honk at a wrestling.
You're not gonna
I'll
start
forget that I
clap, like give us a honk, and then like do this Sting scream, but it's just a big goose honk.
that would have been a great idea. I wish you would have told me before I did it, but
Right. But you mentioned the Lost Boys before earlier, your faction, your group. How did you guys end up getting together to form the group, and how did you get the name the Lost Boys?
So all four of us trained together. It's a very, very simple story. All four of us trained together. Ethan and I were trying to figure out something because Miles was in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan didn't. I said Miles, right? I didn't
Yeah.
just say his real name. Okay, cool. I do that sometimes. But Ryan, he was a little harder to get a hold of sometimes, and Ethan and I were wrestling at Pro Wrestling Magic, and we were just trying to come up with something. And I hold a lot of inspiration from like the movie and the Peter Pan kids.
Mm-hmm.
With the other, so Ryan probably does a little too, but like Ethan and Miles, they don't get it at all. They get it,
they don't get it.
but they
They don't
didn't.
understand cinema.
They didn't get
Right.
it when I did it. But a large part of it was like me going, "Hey, we don't have a home promotion. Like we literally have to travel place to place. Like it's almost like we're lost.
Mm.
It's there." And then we did that, and now here we are. Like we're I still do stuff with them. Like I'm about to wrestle. We're about to wrestle on NFW this Friday, and then Saturday, in some way, shape, or form, we're all going to be at Love Park for CZW combat.
Nice.
But yeah, that's really the shortened version of it. I mean, it's not even really that long of a story. That's really just it, like concisely.
Concise.
Where it's just, yeah, all four of us trained together, and we didn't have a home promotion, and we had to wander a lot, and that was kind of the idea.
You guys actually won ETWA Tag Team Gold
We
as
did.
the Lost Boys.
We
What
did.
did that mean to you, holding those titles so early on in your career?
Well, that was really cool. What was really cool about that was like Ethan and I got to. Prior to that, we won the UWA Elite Tag Championships. UWA Elite runs out of New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to be double champs, which was fun. Of just
Nice.
Like, but we loved ETWA. ETWA kind of really gave us our, got a lot of good reps out of them. They really brought us in and wanted to hone our ability, and we got to just go and form a relationship with a crowd for the first time, because that's what I would say. Like ETWA is probably how we learned how to develop a relationship with the crowd. We were going
Right.
and we started off as these little jerks who were just rambunctious and yelling and blah, blah, to being like these fiery baby faces who had, I guess, really cool moment where like we kind of got to slay a giant, and that's how we won the tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just very sweet for sure. It was just a cool experience, and then I mean, getting to travel with those guys. I love traveling with those guys. I love traveling with many people.
Right.
I get to do that often because I travel a lot more than they do, which makes sense. Miles and Nathan are both like Miles is turning 21 on Saturday.
Wow. That. Wow.
It's all
Ryan
downhill from there. It's all downhill after that.
That's it. Right.
Ryan just got done taking the bar.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, they all are living like their own life. Whereas like for me, it's like wrestling is that like
You're like, wrestling is my life.
but this is the like I really want to do this, so I'm gonna put all like I'm gonna do everything I can to make this work.
Yeah.
Even if like I'm working from 7 to 3:30 and then I take a 4 hour nap.
Right. Take that extra step to rest up.
Um, but yeah, that's the long and short of the Lost Boys.
I know it's probably a little early to say because you are still in your early years, but what have been some of your favorite matches that you've wrestled so far?
So, I wrestled Marcus Mathers for Smash Master recently, back in April. A few months ago, I wrestled Mikey Montgomery
Okay.
out of Enjoy. It was technically my Enjoy debut. We just didn't wrestle at Mr. Small's Theater,
Mm-hmm.
which is still a dream venue of mine. I've enjoyed. I want to wrestle there real bad. I've enjoyed watching those shows. But me and Ricky just wrestled Mookie Summers and El Cojete Carmisi. I don't speak Spanish. I wish I did, but I think it means like Red Rocket or something like that,
Oh, okay.
which is hilarious in its own. But that tag match was really fun to have. I don't know if it's my best match by any means, but him and I had just a lot of fun. So I just enjoyed having fun with that match. Mookie and I are very close in real life, so getting to wrestle him anytime I get to wrestle him, which I'm also wrestling him Saturday at Love Park.
Gotcha.
As of right now, card subject to change, but anytime I get to wrestle him, I just have a lot of fun. And then I've also enjoyed basically, yeah, all of my matches with MV Young out of 880 were all really good. Like if you ever get a chance to go, I wish they would just put it as like make a playlist for it and put it like as a series.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure there was like 9 matches.
Jeez.
Like MV is definitely who I've wrestled the most. I'm pretty sure. Like I don't know who else I would have wrestled more than him outside of his one of his students, Brandon St. James, and I'd done that. I don't think I've wrestled him near as much. But I'd say those are probably my favorite matches right now. We have a really fun, like Ricky and I have a really cool match coming up that is hopefully going to take that over. But you never know with wrestling. Sometimes
Right.
things just happen the way they do. But Ricky and I are getting to wrestle ABC, Ace Austin.
Nice. That's gonna be an awesome match. Hell yeah.
Which is insane because this will be literally our 5th tag match. And we're wrestling the TNA World Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, it's nuts.
But we're believed in, and that feels pretty great. So we're gonna do our thing. Like, I mean, all the matches we've had so far as a tag team have been good. Like,
Yeah.
we do really well. We have really great chemistry. So we vibe well, and then we just are able to make a very solid match out of that. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that a lot. That's definitely I am looking forward to this the most. Didn't know. Don't know if we were gonna get there, but that's an answer to that question. If that was a question.
Before all that, you said you're wrestling Mookie Summers on Saturday.
Yes.
Absolute stud. How do you prepare for Mookie Summers?
Well, luckily enough, I've trained with him. We have been each other probably the most out of anybody else that I've been around. So what's very cool about preparing for somebody like him is I know him so well, and at Combat Zone, I'm a different Juni. I'm not. I don't play as much as I do at other places, and that version of Juni is a very dangerous version to somebody who views Juni as a friend, and like a brother. So that in itself is definitely what I lean into when preparing for Mookie. Unfortunately, that's just what it comes to. Because winner's purse is a real thing, baby. You got to you got to do what it takes to win. So,
safe to say, a little exploitation, a little arbitrage,
a little something.
Juni, I hate to say it, I feel like I'm hearing things from you that I like to hear.
Hey, man.
But we're all surprised.
I am surprised, but I'm on to your trickery.
My what?
Your trickery. You heard me say
it. Have you guys crossed paths yet?
No.
If not.
Not in the ring. Interesting.
Ricky Price, yes. This Ricky Price, no.
This Ricky Price. That's good.
The good one.
Could there be one day a Lost Boys versus Wild LLC tag match?
Has that not happened?
I don't know if that's happened yet. Ethan, has that happened for you guys?
That has not happened.
No, that has not happened yet.
Definitely no. I definitely feel like a smash and burn Wild LLC is coming. But that's because we cross. I'm sure Ricky can't seem to get rid of them. And I am now, tied with Ricky. So, I mean, as long as
I like a subtle flex while you're passively suggesting that you could beat us.
I'm not. I'm just stretching. I had a long nap. But as long as maybe Wild LLC decides to spray like some Ricky repellent or something, or stays out of Ricky's business, we'll be okay.
It sounds more like they're trying to recruit Ricky to be a part of the Wild LLC.
Nah, that ain't gonna happen, dude. Have you seen Ricky? You know Ricky. He's too silly. He can't be bound by a whole group.
There's no place for. First off, I'm repelled by this victim blaming, Juni. I'm repelled by victim blaming. Second, there's no room currently in our corporate org structure for any silly geese.
Well, we are the silliest geese, so
smash and burn with the silly geese.
The silliest geese is smash and burn.
So I know, Doctor, you have other business to attend to before you go. Do you have any last questions you want to ask to Juni before you are off to the races?
So I started off with 2 questions, but since we learned so much about the Pyro Prince, I don't know about the second one. I was going to ask what your favorite song off the seminal 1981 Def Leppard album Pyromania was.
Oh, he probably doesn't even know that album.
Do you know what an album is, Juni Underwood?
I do.
It's what you double click on the Apple Music.
Do I click on Apple Music?
Yeah, we don't. This is not a Spotify household.
I'm a Spotify guy.
That's probably where the disconnect is, right there.
That's the core. That's the
core disconnect.
So is your lawyer, Journey Burke. She's on Spotify. Moral.
We'll have a 4-on-4 Lost Boys versus Wild LLC Apple Music subscription on a pole match.
There you go.
What if maybe it's just like however much both subscriptions are,
right?
And we put that in like a Visa rewards card. And
my last ladder match was for tag titles that you and Ethan held in ETWA. Bested, sadly, by your trainer, Defarge, and certainly Crumbles with him. And I think I'm still smarting. It's been, 4 months? I still smart. There's a click in my wrist from that match. So,
ladder matches.
I don't like to be one-upped. And so the idea of somebody else having access to a tag title of all things that I've not is distressing. We'll have to resolve that one day. We'll do business, shall we say?
Do business.
Do business.
Business.
So I think with that said, Doctor, it's been lovely having you as my guest host.
Hasn't it?
It's been quite nice. It has been quite nice.
All right. Auf Wiedersehen. I'm going to go talk business with Dylan and the gang.
Yes.
Good evening, you all.
We'll take it over from here. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out. All right. Now it's just us two. Let's continue. Nice to have the boss stop in and ask you a bunch of questions.
My phone is definitely in dire need of a charge. So just letting you know that if for whatever reason my phone dies, unless I were to run and grab a charger very quickly, my phone may die. I'm at 6%. I'm just
what we'll do is this. What we can amend that. Let's go with our question that we ask all of our guests first of all, and then depending on how that goes, we'll go for a break. We get a charger. We come back. We'll do your top 5. How about that?
Wonderful.
So, before your phone dies, I want to ask, what does pro wrestling mean to you, and what impact has it had on your life so far?
My phone's gonna die. My phone's gonna die as I tell you this answer.
All right, so you know what? Pause that thought.
We're
gonna go for a quick break, guys, before his phone dies. When we come back, we will not only do that question, but also his top 5 favorite Pokemon.
I think I saw something in this chat too.
Stay tuned.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Real quick, guys, when you're looking for the best business in the business, choose the financial stability of Wild LLC. Their fiduciary experts will turn even a monetary zero like you into a monetary hero like them. Wild LLC is your path to the top. And while we get Juni back over here, we're getting his charger, I'm going to do a quick recap of what's coming up for us, what's our upcoming events while he does that. First of all, if you missed it, go back and watch Cheeseburger that just dropped last night. Amazing interview with Cheeseburger. We talked all things wrestling. We talked all things the Worldwide Dojo, his training, and his top 5 fast food burgers. That was so much fun to talk to. And if you missed before that, we are our very first episode of Grappling with the Grooves with our special guests, Shay McCoy and Kenny Pete from the Mystery Men. So if you missed that, go check it out. And then next week, we will talk to the owner of HTW himself, Alex Watt. Episode 68. Don't miss it. We're going to have bunch of a good time talking about all things HTW, all things Kilowatt, all things ready to go. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have our guest back on. So let's bring him back on. Juni Underwood. Boom.
Hello.
We're back. All right. So, as I asked before, what does wrestling mean to you, and what is its impact on your life? Before we get into your top 5 Pokemon.
Man, I mean, it's had a huge impact. I mean, one of my earliest memories is watching. Whether it was very unlikely that I remember watching this live. But one of my earliest memories is watching the Triangle Triple Threat ladder match between the Dudleys
Oh
in
yeah,
parties. Super. I have watched wrestling my whole life outside of basically my high school time. Time, I got bullied for it. I was one of those people that if something is an issue, I get rid of said thing. If something is getting me in trouble, I stop doing said thing.
Right.
And that time is one of those times where I'm like, yeah, that kind of like sucked. I've loved I love watching wrestling. I always have. I've loved it. I love the stories. I love the people. I love the athleticism. I love everything about it. And then getting back into it when I was a sophomore in college, all because I decided to go upstairs at 3:00 in the morning and get a peach Snapple.
Oh,
I said this is this is definitely the Juni Underwood story. If you have me on your podcast, you hear this story typically because this literally coincides with it. I was at a very hard point in my life where I was like, what I'm doing, I need to do something. Something's got to change. I was in college. I was not enjoying my major, which was graphic design. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be. And my mom was like, hey, if you ever get the opportunity to do something, you should try it. Just try new things. See what happens.
right.
Upstairs, I get a peach Snapple. It's 3:00 in the morning. I'm passing by the night assistant's desk, and she goes, she's like, hey, have a good night. I stopped for a second because I heard that she was watching a musical. I was like, what are you doing? She told me she was watching a musical she's about to audition for, and then she ended up saying I should audition for it. Just probably as like a ha-ha funny.
Right.
But I took that. Well, at first I was like, I'm not going to do that. So then I started walking downstairs back to my room, and then I was like, wait. I literally just heard my mom tell me I need to try new things. And here's a new opportunity to try something new, so let's go try it.
There you go.
Long story short, I ended up getting into theater. I ended up getting into that musical that I auditioned for.
Awesome.
First audition, terrible, but I showed enough promise that they put me on the show. And then I learned theater etiquette, etc. And then through theater, I became much more comfortable with who I was and just kind of wanted to be whatever version of me I wanted to be. And so then I started watching wrestling again. The person that I kind of started watching that really got me back into wrestling was Adam Cole.
Nice.
Him and like the Cruiserweight Classic was like very.
Oh, that was such a good. I missed that tournament. That was a great tournament.
Was very big for when I started back wrestling. But prior to that, like my favorite wrestler still is Chris Sabin. I'm a big guy. I just
good
think
pick.
but I would say Adam Cole is definitely right there.
Did you catch him during his NXT days, or did you catch him during his AW days?
So with Adam Cole, I caught him literally. I started watching wrestling. I started watching it back. I was watching his ROH run,
Oh, okay, all right, going back further. Got you, got you.
and then my dad was like, "Hey, have you been watching wrestling lately? Any wrestling?" And I said, "Well, I've been watching this one guy named Adam Cole," and he was just like, "Well, if you haven't, you should watch NXT Takeover."
Oh yeah,
And I'm like, "Okay." I mean,
absolutely.
all right, like I don't know what this has to do with Adam Cole, but I guess I'll find out. And then I found out.
Yeah,
So it was literally, and at this point, that NXT Takeover was all of 2 days ago.
right,
Didn't you don't like if you don't follow wrestling, you don't get anything.
right,
I,
right.
just because I'm watching ROH Final Battle 2016, Adam Cole, that was him versus Kyle O'Reilly, I think.
I believe so. Yeah, I think that was him versus Colorado. Yeah,
Because I couldn't remember if that was 2015 or 2016,
right,
but I'm pretty sure it's 2016. Just because I watched that along with, I don't know, Adam Cole versus Leo Rush, Adam
right.
Dalton Castle, Adam Cole versus anybody. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get on YouTube and the first thing I see is Adam Cole at NXT Takeover.
Right.
I didn't see that. I didn't know. And then I was watching this whole thing, and this show was insane,
Yeah,
top to bottom,
yeah.
insane.
The Black and Gold days were definitely a different time for NXT. I haven't really watched it much since they changed to 2.0 back to like the modern NXT. The modern NXT I think is getting better, but the 2.0 to me wasn't the same as Black and Gold.
Right.
The shows were just so much bigger to my eyes. The takeovers were meant to be just these huge, like indie spotlight, if you will, because they were all just indie stars just taking over NXT at that point. It was just nuts.
Yeah.
You had your Adam Coles, your Roderick Strongs, your Bobby Fish, O'Reilly. Like you had these people taking over by storm, and I still don't think NXT's gotten back to that essence yet, personally. But those were like the golden days for me of NXT. It was Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era on top.
Right. No, for sure. And it was just great. So through that, I got back into wrestling, and then during the pandemic, I made the decision. I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to do this, and then I saved up. Once I graduated college at the end of 2020, I saved up for about 6 months, and then I started training. Um,
How did
training.
you find your school? Like you just went to a random school, or you just?
I wish I knew Twitter at the time, because I think Twitter might have changed my mind and changed my path a little. But I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
everything that happened was exactly how it was supposed to, and there's no regrets on that, because there can't be. Why?
No.
What's
Why?
they're gonna do?
No.
What is gonna make me think I could have trained somewhere else first instead? Who knows?
Right.
And it's not me. It's not who I am at the moment. It's not who I am now. So without what I've done, no way I would be me now.
Right.
So that's really it. I mean, I've sacrificed a lot for wrestling. I mean, all my family is in North Carolina. I'm here.
Right.
I'm 8 hours away. I have a beautiful niece and nephew, and multiple of those actually.
Mm-hmm.
And that I'm just like, I gotta make it for any other
Right.
than just like for them. Like they
Right.
don't see their uncle that often. When they do, I make it a very like big point.
Oh, you got to be the Funkle. Always. Always. You have to be. That's. If there's one rule I think about being an uncle, because I've been an uncle now like 4 times over, is that you have to be the fun uncle. You can't just. You gotta show out. You know what I'm saying? You gotta show out. You gotta show up.
So just being somebody that follows their dreams in a place that doesn't really follow their dreams often. Where I'm from, I don't feel like people really follow their dreams often, and a lot of people will say that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have said to me of like they're proud of me because in a world and in an area full of people who live comfortably and just find something that gets them along in life, I chose to chase my dream,
Yeah,
and I want to do that. I want to do that for a lot of people. I like being a little beacon of hope.
that's awesome.
Which
Yeah.
yeah, I wish I had. I don't know what just happened to my screen. I don't know why I decided to do that. Um, but
There you go.
oh, it happened. I saw it glitch up. I was like, I don't know what that is. Um, but that's really it. I love wrestling. I mean, it's obvious. Like I'm wrestling a lot. Like I'm traveling a lot. I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm not doing. I don't think I'm doing like the WWE travel schedule.
No, but you're traveling, but you're out there, man. Your name is everywhere. That's why it's crazy to me that you've only been doing this for a few years, but you have made such an impact on the wrestling world with how short of a time that you've been wrestling.
Yeah, I mean that's good to hear. I appreciate you saying that. Um, there's still a lot to be done, and there's still so much. Like I'm trying to take as many opportunities as possible to be involved in like the TNA extra loops that I've got
Right.
in and things like that, and just really grind. And I've gotten fortunate enough to be able to um, find a lot of people. Like right now, I'm being heavily mentored by Ace Austin, which is
Yeah.
in part of why this ABC match means so much to me. Outside of the
Hmm.
fact that like I get to wrestle with my best friend,
Right.
because Ricky and I are so close now. Like we have been for the last year and a half, um, prior to us tagging,
Hmm.
and so like getting to wrestle currently one of the best tag teams in the world with one of my best friend with my best friend is just so sick. And then on top of that, being able to wrestle somebody that I currently call a mentor,
Yeah.
somebody I've slept on his couch,
Yeah.
uh, and that's just what wrestling's done. Like it just, if you would have told me this last year that a year from now you'd be hanging out with Ace Austin and getting mentored by him and about to wrestle him and Chris Bay, I'd have told you were stupid. But
Right. Yeah.
then a year later you could that you could stick your tongue at me.
Right.
You can flip me off. Like you were right. So, but that's just wrestling. Wrestling is so unorthodox, and I think like I love that. Like I can grind and I can grind and I can grind. Like I've mentioned this before. I haven't wrestled a name. The closest thing to a name that I've wrestled is Marcus Mathers.
Hmm.
I've wrestled Speedball Mike Bailey in a no ring.
I mean, that's still a name though. That's still a
It,
huge name that you faced off
it
against.
is, but I would say when it comes to facing a name, like even like with facing Speedball, I didn't get the best version of wrestling Speedball because we were in a no ring. The
Yeah.
best version
Right.
of Speedball is that version that you can be across the ring with, and you can feel, and you can just listen, and you can talk to him, and you can feel him. Like I mean, I got to wrestle him, thankfully, doing this little TNA extra thing.
Right. Right.
Uh, so like I got to do that, but like I want to be across the ring where I have a good amount of time to wrestle my trainer, to wrestle this guy that I look up to,
Hmm.
really fight and really do something and
Yeah.
show him what he's taught me and how I believe that uh, I will have made him, I will have made Berger, I will have made Sonny DeFarge, even Mike Quest, Ricardo, all of these people, Ace Austin, all of these people who have kind of put their name on me and
Yeah.
uh, have faith in me, that I'm worth having faith in.
Right.
That's really the thing, and I don't think I'm gonna really be able to do that until you know, I'm facing people on bigger stages, and I'm facing people like them, like that. Because right,
Right.
this is great, right? Yeah, I have 233 matches. I could have had more. Um, I know that. Uh,
Right.
lately, I've been having to not not even that I haven't been wrestling a lot lately because I've been wrestling a lot still. But sometimes I've been prioritizing lately. I've been prioritizing my health because I'm taking a lot of bumps. I'm taking a lot
Mm-hmm.
of stupid bumps. I've taken a lot of not so stupid bumps.
Right.
And so within 2 years, like I went from, when you're training, right? But within a little over a year of training, I went from, training to I'm now on the road, literally
Wrestling. Yeah.
every 8 hours there, 8 hours to a different place, and then finally 7 to 8 hours back. Like
Right.
I just did a crazy 10 day, 9 day, 10 matches in 4 different states,
Wow. That's impressive. That's crazy.
uh, which was awesome.
I can't imagine. That's like the greatest like wrestling road trip
Yeah,
ever.
and so I just got to go do that, and like I'm hurting. I'm so tired, but I'm not injured, and
Hmm.
I can keep going. And I have so much left in the tank. Like
Absolutely.
I just, now I've gotten a lot of reps. I have done. I have wrestled more in 2 years than a lot of people have wrestled in 10. Than a lot of people
Yeah, that's for sure.
have. Um, so like on this route, like I have to at some point start giving myself a little grace to tone it down a little,
Right.
really, and really just do less to my body, and I'm doing that now. So um, I just, I want to be able to do this for a really long time because I don't know how I'm gonna feel if I wasn't doing it.
Right.
So
All right.
yeah,
Well, perfect answer. Perfect answer. Perfect way to end that segment. But let's get down to brass tacks. Why we are here.
brass tacks.
Top 5 favorite Pokemon. Now I have to ask: is this like the OG 151, or are we diving into the Pokemon world like headstrong?
I was thinking Pokemon World Headstrong.
Okay. All right. All right. Got it.
If we were to go with top five 151, I'd have to change a lot of
All
my.
right, that's perfect. I just wanted to see what your range of Pokemon was, if you were going full or just the original, or what your thought process was in that.
We're going all the way.
All right, cool,
Uh,
awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited to
yeah.
hear this.
Are we going back and forth? Like you
No,
have
no, this is you. This is your show now, baby.
just me?
This is you. This
Okay.
is your top 5. This is the main event of the show where we give the guests the chance to shine. It is
Okay.
your time to shine.
So
So let's go. Start off with number 5.
so before this, actually,
Okay.
our top five, I'm going to give you the Pyro Princes team.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll save his MVP for last,
Okay.
but uh he'd have a Charizard. He'd have a
Nice.
fire starters. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that right now.
Oh,
He'd,
I mean, of course.
he'd have Charizard,
Right.
Blaziken,
Okay.
Infernape,
Nice. Nice.
Cyrilege,
Oh, okay. Right. Right. Right.
uh, Entei,
Mm-hmm.
and then his MVP, his ace would probably be Incineroar.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's a fire dark type, but he's a giant lucha.
Oh yeah. He's a giant. Yeah. He'll mess you up. He'll mess you up.
So I totally want to get like a Pokemon card made of me and Incineroar, Pyro Prince, Juni Underwood, and
Oh, that definitely make that happen. Absolutely.
it would just slap. It would be so sick.
No, what you need is you need to get that tattooed on you. You need to get a
No.
Pokemon of you. I think that'd be sick.
I thought about getting the Blaze badge or like
Oh, okay.
I've thought of getting that on me
That's
somewhere.
cool.
I have like a little fire tat here.
Nice,
I don't
nice.
really see it, but
Yeah, I can see the flame.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so just kind of adding more fire related things to my right arm. Um, but um, that would be the Power Princess team of six. Obviously,
Gotcha, gotcha.
Fire Gem probably eighth or Fire Elite Four member,
Right,
whatever
right.
the case is.
Just all fire.
Yeah, very super fire.
Yes.
Um, so now we can get into my top five. Here's some honorable mentions, real quick.
Yes, please, let's go.
Lugia
Okay.
is an honorable mention,
Mm-hmm.
and Charizard is an honorable
It's
mention.
honorable mention. Wow, that's a surprising pick.
Yeah,
Surprised that's not on your list.
no, he's not. I'm a very, like I said, me. I mean, I love fire types. Fire types are still probably my favorites, but I have a soft spot for just a lot of certain Pokemon.
Right.
But number five, he wasn't on the Pyro Princess team, and there's like a reason for that. More so because I think, despite all of them being fire types and some of them being, multiple of them being fire and fighting, um, we already had like a very we had a monotype of fire already being Entei. But my number five is Typhlosion.
Okay. All
He was,
right.
he was my first starter. My first starter was Cyndaquil. When
And what is his type?
Typhlosion,
Yes.
specifically the raw Typhlosion, the
Gotcha.
fire, just straight fire.
Just straight fire. Okay.
Um, like the Hisuian one is really cool, but I don't know. My boy was perfect just the way he is. But that was my favorite. That was my first starter when I played Silver. Um, and I remember beating the Elite Four with basically like a bunch of Pokemon who can use HMs and a level like 87 Typhlosion. I was
Right. You were hitting it strong.
oh
Hitting
yeah,
it strong.
I was super Iron Mon in it. Um, it was great. Um, and then number four is my only legendary on this list, but it's basically why Typhlosion wasn't on the sixth team because of Entei.
Okay. All right.
I have just this super cool memory of my parents for my birthday bought Pokemon the third movie
Oh,
on
nice. Oh, nice.
on pay per view, which we had access to for 7 days. And I remember for those 7 days, I was waking up watching it. I was going to sleep watching it. I was
That was your movie, man.
I got I got home from preschool or school or wherever I was coming from, and I was watching that movie, and it was just so cool. Entei is just such a cool Pokemon. Like, he's just so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my favorite legendary for
Great.
sure.
Yeah. Great pick. Absolutely great pick.
And then number three, and these three typically change often. One one typically stays the same, but two and three go back and forth. Like, they don't.
Okay.
They just flip flop where they are.
They just got it.
So today, number three is Umbreon.
Okay. Good. Good.
Big
Good.
Umbreon,
Good.
big Umbreon fan. Um, I just think he's awesome, and I love shiny Umbreon. I can't
Yeah.
tell you if the rings are blue and purple because I'm colorblind. I'm a little colorblind.
Okay.
Like, super duper obvious. It's really hard for me to tell some things apart. But
Right. Right.
um, he's so cool. He's so dope, and he's like a little tank. So
Is that your favorite evolution?
yeah, yeah,
Got it. Got it.
easily
Yeah. Hands down. Okay.
bar none. He's just so cool. Super edgy. Um, and then number two is I feel like every time I say this, people are like, "What?" Flygon.
Flygon.
I'm a big Flygon guy. I just
Okay.
look so adorable.
Okay.
He's so
All right.
everybody was getting Salamances, and I'm like, yeah, Salamence is better, but like Flygon is
We're like
lit.
Flygon.
But like look at him. His design
Right.
his design is cooler. You can't tell me otherwise. His
Right.
design is significantly better than Salamance's. Salamance is just stronger and faster. So
Right.
oh, Salamance, oh, he's blue. Like, dude, get off.
Get off.
Like, you can't look at Flygon and say that guy, dude, come on. Get out of here with that nonsense. Salamance is better. Yay, but he's not cooler. So
He's not cooler.
that's like
He may
saying
be more powerful,
Frieza,
but he doesn't look cool.
Frieza's the stronger brother, but he's not cooler. All right, get out. Anyway, big Flygon guy. So number one, my all-time fave. I have him on my phone case. I have a sweet little beanie. I have a little cool button-up that one of my best friends just got me. And I have this cool little thing that goes on my like keys. I'm
Nice.
super high on this Pokemon. I just wish I had like a plushie or something of him, but I don't. Plushies are expensive.
They are.
Gengar.
Oh yeah, that's an OG. That's
I
an
was
OG.
I was always so sick trying
OG.
to find somebody to trade for a Gengar. So that Typhlosion memory that I was telling you about, the second highest Pokemon was a Haunter.
Oh yeah.
Like, probably like
Right.
mid 50s, early 60s.
hmm
Maybe a little stronger than that. But he was just a Haunter because I couldn't evolve him into a Gengar.
Right.
Uh,
That's the worst.
and I was like, man, this sucks.
Right.
So I'm very thankful that now it's very easy to catch a Gengar and very easy to get traded characters.
Right. As a gift on the Switch, I actually received Pokemon Scarlet, and then I played that nonstop for a time to the point where I had beaten the game, and I was just on a mission, like you said, to make all of my Pokemon bosses like level hundreds. So I currently, if I go back thinking, I think I have up to 22 Pokemon that are at max because I just went ham and just trained them up.
Yeah.
I have a slew of beasts where if I ever needed to face somebody, I knew I could win. But I went on a tear. I was like, I'm gonna make everyone a max, everyone a beast.
So there's a in Philly, probably in a lot of places. There's this little like Pokemon League where you can like show up and you can just battle people,
Oh yeah,
and
that's cool.
planned out. They're planned out, so you're basically going to win like badges.
Oh wow,
Yeah, people will have like badges on them, and
that's cool.
if you beat them, you get that badge. It's real cool.
That is really cool. That's pretty sick. But what a fantastic list, double list. I wasn't expecting a double list. Fantastic double list.
Yeah, I'm not sure if those 6 are necessarily his favorite fire type Pokemon.
Right.
I definitely know those would probably be his team, assuming like Infernape and Blaziken fight. Incineroar is a Lucha.
Right.
Entei is awesome. Cyrilege is like dark and grungy. Super up Pyro Prince's alley. And then Charizard is Charizard. Like,
yeah.
Why wouldn't the boy have a dragon he can fly on?
Right, of course. Why not? Why wouldn't he have a dragon he can fly on?
Yeah.
Come on. But all right, what a great list. Before we go, we're gonna do a quick segment of, you mentioned most of them, but we'll run it back, yours and mine. Upcoming events. So we'll be back in a second with that. Or impending doom, as Dylan Mesh loves to call it. All right, let's recap, because you mentioned a bunch of them before. What shows you have coming up, sir, that you might want to recap and re-mention?
Yes. So this upcoming Saturday, so this Friday, we're going to be at Richfield Park, the Mecca for NSW.
Right.
Then the next day, we're going to be at Love Park for Combat Zone Wrestling.
Gotcha.
That's the 17th. And then the 18th, we're going to be in Bloomsburg for
There you go.
Snapcaster. I am currently unannounced. I'm doing a little something.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be very fun. Very fun weekend. And then next weekend, I'm going to 880 T2T Pittsburgh.
Nice.
And then Saturday's a little up in the air right now, but we'll find out. We'll see how that goes. And then I'm having a pretty fun travel week right after the 880 show.
Mm-hmm.
And then September 7th, we'll do a Combat Zone in Quakertown.
Okay.
And then the 8th, me and Ricky for Phantom 6 Wrestling gets to wrestle ABC, Ace Austin, Chris
Which I'm sure will be an incredible match, and I can't wait to see it or be there live or see it if it's going to be taped online or YouTube, wherever I could see it. I want to see it. That sounds like an amazing matchup.
Yeah. And then we got some cool stuff coming up with Combat Zone Wrestling. Hopefully, we're going to Texas, October 19th. And then we have some other cool little things hopefully coming. But as of right now, those are the big what's soon.
Awesome. Well, as I mentioned before, as he was trying to gather up his phone charger, next Sunday we have the owner of HCW, or creator of himself, owner, creator, whatever, I don't know what you would really want to call him, Alex Watt, Kilowatt himself. Next week, episode 68, 2 away from 70. God, we're getting old. Not really. It's not age, but it's getting old up in the numbers. I'm excited for that. I don't have the graphic yet, but next week's as well is going to be another doozy. Stay tuned for that announcement to drop. Just a quick announcement. As you know, Opinion City, we usually do Turn with the Bros Friday night. It is canceled, as myself and Ralph will be at Philomoka for Solar Slam, presented by HCW and Pro Wrestling Explosion. It's going to be a hell of a show. Super excited for that. But that's going to be about it for myself and for Juni. Thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate you talking with me and with my cohort, Ethan Wild, for a minute, and of his fun questions that he asked you as well. Maybe one day we will see that Lost Boys versus Watt LLC match, because I'd be intrigued to see it. But for him and for myself, that will do it. Guys, thank you so much for watching, viewing, sharing, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know that you are enjoying Opinion City, and we will be back next time.
On behalf of Wild LLC, this has been the Opinion City Podcast. It has been your pleasure.
Happy trails to you till we meet again.